Okay, well, go ahead and do this.
Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo fundamental teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I have come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning.
Okay, we will go very quick into this. Last time we just finished about this one, and now we continue on this, and I will go to the 8 consciousness so you understand this more. Paul, Quyên, and Sophia, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, thầy.
Okay. All right. Sophia, you do number 8.
The death of loved ones is endure, but separation is also painful. When the child travels afar, the mother worries in her village. From morning until night, her heart is with her child, and 1,000 tears fall from her eyes, like the monkey weeping silently in love for her child. Bit by bit, her heart is broken.
You don't, can you explain to me what does it mean?
Like when a child travels like far away from their mother, their mom worries a lot and she suffers because she like worrying about her child.
So that if in our family any our loved one is dead, right? It died, that means very suffer. But also separating, the separation is also suffer, right? So the separation that means the child when it's travel far from the parent, and that means the parent always day and night they always worry about the child. For example, when you go to your friend's house, right? You say that I will be back on 8 p.m. today, but you know when it passed 8 p.m., let's say 8:30, the parent will worry, right? They don't know. Are you okay or whatever? They always worry. Don't even talking about when we travel far. For example, if later on you go to school, right? You go to the college, you live far from the parent, and or you go to work, you have to travel far. Those things make the parent always worried. That means 1,000 tears fall from her eye, and it means their compassion. Okay. Um, uh, think about this. When we fought, right? How do we make our parents less worry about when we stay far from the parent? Let's say that you go to school. Khoa, let's next year you no actually in the fall, right? You will travel. You live in the dome, right? For your college. And that means you will not be able to see your parent 1 or 2 weeks, right? At least.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So that means the mom and the father always worry. How do we make them less worry, less suffer?
Well, I feel like once in a while you should contact them or like call them to like tell them how you're doing, and then once in a while when you're free you can go back and visit them and make sure they're doing well, and then also that'll help them know that you're okay.
Yeah, actually, every week you'll be able to call them 1 or 2 every week. And because right now we have FaceTime or whatever, right? We can see each other through the FaceTime. And that means they know you are safe. That means they okay. That one call can make the difference, right? That's important. All right. Requiem, so number 9.
How heavy is parental kindness and emotional concern? Their kindness is deep and difficult to repay. Willingly they undergo suffering on their child's behalf. If the child toils, the parents are uncomfortable. If they hear that he has traveled far, they worry that at night he will have to lie in the cold. Even a moment's pain suffered by their sons and daughters will cause the parents sustained distress.
So what do you learn from this short teaching? How heavy is parent kindness and emotion concern? It's very difficult to repay, but now here, what do the Buddha teaching? When relate to the parent kindness and emotion, why they are emotion? Let's say that even a moment pain suffered by their son and daughter. Let's say that when the parent hear about their children um, got let's say that accident or whatever, right? Some trouble, and they will suffer, right? Do you think
Yes.
they suffer a lot? That's why, because the reason they suffer is they care and they love us immense. That means nothing can measure. Okay, that means their compassion, and that's why they, due to that, they always have emotion do toward work to the children. Okay, all right. Okay. Tammy, you do number 10. Go.
The kindness of parents is profound and important. Their tender concern never ceases. From the moment they awake each day, their thoughts are with their children. Whether the children are near or far away, the parents think of them often. Even if a mother lives for 100 years, she will constantly worry about her 80-year-old child. Do you wish to know when such kindness and love ends? It doesn't even begin to despite until her life is over.
Okay, what do you understand from here?
That like even if a mother like in the mother's entire lifetime, she'll always care for her kids.
When even the child is 80 years old, right? But from the parent, the eye of the parent, the child 80 years still their child, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means they care so much until their life is over. If they still alive, they always care, even though we are 80 years old. And that means that um, day and night, they always care about the children, especially when we are far away from the parent. And they often think about us due to their profound kindness. Okay. Okay. All right. Arian, you read this one.
The Buddha told Ananda, when I contemplate living beings, I see that although they are born as human beings, nonetheless, they are ignorant and dull in their thoughts and actions. They don't consider their parents' kindness and virtue. They are disrespectful and turn their backs on kindness and what is right. They lack humanness and are neither filial or nor compliant.
Okay. Okay. So go ahead and read. Continue.
For 10 months, while the mother is with child, she feels discomfort each time she rises, as if she were lifting a heavy burden. Like a chronic invalid, she is unable to keep her food and drink down. When the 10 months have passed and the time comes for the birth, she undergoes all kinds of pain and suffering so that the child can be born. She is afraid of her own mortality, like a pig or lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Then the blood flows all over the ground. These are the sufferings she undergoes.
Good. Can you explain to me?
um, uh,
Joe, you understand?
yes. Um, so basically, the the mom goes do a lot of suffering to take care of the baby. Um,
But in here, why the Buddha said that when the Buddha contemplates all living beings, right? But the Buddha said that they are very ignorant and doomed in their thought and action. That means they don't have the kindness. They are not kind to the parent, and they are very disrespect to the parent. And they are neither filial. You know what is the word filial?
yes,
What is that?
they're respectful.
Oh yeah, the one who respect the parent. But in this case, neither. That means not respect to the parent, not no compliance. That means the not obey. That means disobey. Why the Buddha said that? Did you think that in this world right now we are living? Don't you think that true?
Yes,
A lot of people, a lot of children like this, right? When the parent asks us to help them, and you know what? Instead of we say yes, sometimes we delay and sometimes we get mad, right? We snap back. That usually the children do, and that is very hurt, right? The parent will they hurt, it hurt their feeling, right? Because they give up everything, they give up the whole life for the children, and what they get back is the children disrespect to the parent. That's very unfair, do you think? Mm. And you know what? When the mom, right, carry us inside the womb, right? 10 months. That means every movement of her, that means stand, sit, walk, they she feel discomfort, right? And when she raised, of course, she have to lift that heavy baby, right? It's not easy for the woman who um, it's not easy for the woman who carry the pregnancy. It's very tough, right? It's very tough. Um, so and they have a lot of pain, and you see that when the time the mom, right, give birth to the baby, that is when she feel like a pig or a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Do you understand this, Tammy?
Yes.
You know what it means?
Uh,
Like a pig or a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. That means when the pig or the lamb get killed, right? You know how they get killed? Well, they will cut their head, right? When they cut their head, the blood come out their head. It's uncontrollable. That means it's a lot. The same thing when the mom give birth to us. The blood comes from her body. It's unbelievable. Okay, it and sometimes misfortune, right? She died, right? Misfortune, she died in order to get so that's why The mom went through a lot of suffering, especially when she gave birth to us. The suffering is just like that. Nothing can describe how suffer she is. Okay? The blood flow all over the ground, and that's how she undergo. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, Big Wing, go ahead and read the last one.
Do I start the once?
Yeah.
Once the child is born, she saves what is sweet for him and swallows what is bitter herself. She carries the child and nourishes it, washing away its filth. There is no toil or difficulty that she does not willingly undertake for the sake of her child. She endures both in hate and never even mentions what she has gone through. She gives the dry place to her child and sleeps in the damp herself. For 3 years she nourishes the child with milk, which is transformed from the blood of her own body. Parents continuously instruct and guide their children in the ways of property and morality. As the youngsters mature into adults, they arrange marriages for them and provide them with property and wealth, or devise ways to get it for them. They take this responsibility and trouble upon themselves with tremendous zeal and toil, never speaking about the child and their care and kindness. When a son or daughter become ill,
Stop
parents
right
are
here.
worried
Stop right here. Okay, stop right here. Just explain to me. This portion. Okay, you know that when the mom, when the baby come out, right? The baby
Yes.
rely on the mom milk, right? You know how much mom milk that we drink for 2 years?
No.
Yeah. Kwa, do you know how much mom milk do we drink for the first 3 years?
I'm not sure. It's a lot though.
Oh, it's a lot. Okay. So basically, average we drink the mom milk for first 3 years. It's equal to 1,200 gallons of milk. Okay. And when we're talking about the mom milk, it represents that her nutrition and her blood, her blood. When we drink the mom milk, basically we drink the mom blood. That's how the baby can be able to survive, right? That is the kindness of the mom, right? The compassion of the mom. And you know what? Even though when we grow, they are the one who teach us many things, right? They instruct and guide the children in the way for morality, right? As the youngster more mature into adult. Okay, how do we determine this person is mature or not mature? Kwa, do you know?
Oh yeah, I don't really know.
You don't know? Tell me, do you know how do we determine this person is mature or not mature?
I don't really know.
Okay. Sophia, do you know?
How they respect other people?
How do we know? How do we measure this person is mature or not mature?
Their age?
Oh, do you think that we determine by the age?
Wait, no.
Arian, what do you think? Yesterday, I already teach you guys on this thing already, right?
They measure how mature someone is by how they kind of like respect other people, like the elders.
Okay. Okay, if the one who respect the parent, right? And also the one who respect the elder, as well as respect the younger, because why do we need to respect the younger? Because that's how we love them. So we can be able to teach them the good thing. Okay. When we respect the older, that means we can be able to learn from them. That's how we learn to become the humble person. The most important is we need to respect to the parent because they sacrifice everything for us. But that will measure the person is mature or not mature. Even though the person who is 60 or 70 years old, but they are not, um, they cannot be able to handle, take care of themselves. And you know what? They have no respect to anyone. And that means they are not really mature, okay? Because they are the one who cause a lot of suffering for others. The mature person will not cause suffering to other people. Does that make sense? What
was the question?
The mature person is a responsible person, will not cause any worriness and suffering to other people.
Yeah.
The one who does not know how to handle themselves, the one who do not responsible for their own, they do not have a responsibility at whatever the role they are in. If we are the children, we should have the role of responsibility as children. If we are the brother or sister, we should have a role for responsibility for the brother or sister. We are the parent, we should also have a role for responsibility for the parent. The one who have the responsibility always, that means that one will not cause any suffering or worriness for other people. This will measure the mature or not mature. That means the one who do that, they will mature, and the one do not have that, they are not mature, even though they are 60 or 70. But the one who under 18, but they have all this, that means they are mature. Does that make sense to you, Tammy?
Yeah.
Bé Quyên hiểu không, Bé Quyên?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let me stop you right here. Let me show you a little thing. Last time we learned about the 38 week of the fetus, right? We learned about the week number 19. Okay. This is the Buddha teaching about the fetus development inside the mother womb for 38 week development inside the mother womb. Okay. And when I also show both from the Buddha teaching and also to the medical view, and we see how accurate it is. Okay. So, and we also know that every week, right, there is the specific name of the common wind. It will create the fetus body, and not only the physical body, also the mental. Okay, both. So in the week number, so let me quickly review. So actually, how about this? In the week number 19, there is the body base. What does it mean? The body base represent the first 5 senses. That means the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, and the body. Yeah. The gender base, it means this is where it's distinguished the male or female. Okay, the sixth consciousness it represents for the brain. We call the mind. The mind consciousness or the sixth consciousness it represents for the brain. The seventh consciousness base. This is where it represents for the cell or the ego or the emotional part, and I will show you the diagram to understand it. We learned about that already. And also all the organ base established. And the number eight consonant, that means the alaya, that is the one we call the storehouse. It store everything. Before I do that, because we have new people here, they do not understand what I'm teaching here. So let me show you the diagram for the eight consonant. You will understand what I'm talking about. Oh, not this one, sorry. Okay. Okay, this is how we, oh, sorry. What is it? Okay. In the Buddhist view, this is how the mind works. Okay. The first one is before we do this, you know what? Let me quickly go here. I will walk you through the story of the Steve Jobs so you understand how it might work. Okay. Later on, we will have a chance to go through that. Okay, do the hearing to the eight consciousness. What about the hearing to the medical field? Okay, medical field first. All right, Kwa, go ahead and read example number 2.
Example 2, the hearing through the medical field. When we listen to a song, our ears hear the sound of the song. Our ears are just like a camera taking a picture of the sound. The ears will send the image of the sound to the brain through nerves. Once the brain receives the image object, it then converts the image object into the hearing. If in the past we have learned or heard about this song, then now we can be able to recognize and distinguish about the song, such as author name, meaning of the song, and other information.
Okay, read the question.
Which one does provide the function of distinguishing?
What do you think?
Your brain?
Not the ear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and read the answer. Go ahead and read it.
The brain gives us the ability to distinguish, not the ears. Our ears are just like a window. If a window is broken, then we just need to replace it with a new window. It is also the same with the other 4 faculties, such eye, nose, tongue, and body. Our brain control our entire body's movement, senses, and etc. Nowadays, the medical scientists have invented the artificial ear or hearing aid device, a person who has hearing problem.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If the ear is the one who distinguishes, right? Then that means when the ear is broken, you cannot replace. Remember that. But the ear is not the one to distinguish, but the brain. Therefore, when the ear have problem, the scientists can be able to use the hearing aid or whatever. We can use the hearing aid or whatever, even the artificial ear, right? We can be able to hear. The reason they do that is they the problem. Why do we have a problem with the ear problem? The problem is okay. Let me show you here. Here, this is in the central nervous system. We know that there are 2 parts, right? We call the brain and the spinal cord. right? This is the brain, right? And the spinal cord right here. And the spinal cord, what do they have? They have all the nerves run along the way here. But the nerves, first, they need to connect from the brain, right? And the nerve will connect throughout the body. That means all organs. For example, the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, whatever, and even the other, the heart, whatever, right? So when we hear, we see, we smell, we taste, we touch, or we have the feeling, right? The sense of feeling, either happy or suffering, right? Neither happy nor suffering. Those things controlled by the brain. It's not controlled by that specific body, right? Understand? For example, when we have the toothache, right? We have a toothache, we go to the dentist. But the toothache, it come from the tooth or come from where? Tell me.
Huh?
When we have a toothache, right?
It
The pain, it come from the tooth or it come from where?
like around our mouths.
I know around our mouth, but where the pain come from? From the mouth?
The nervous system.
Yeah, from the brain, right? Because the brain send the signal to the nerve, right? The nerve is connect to the tooth. And when they send the signal of the pain to the tooth, that's where we feel the pain. We call the toothache, okay?
Yeah.
When we go to the dentist, what do? They will numb us, right? They use the medication. They inject the medicine to numb the what do they numb? Who knows? Mấy Quyên, what do they numb?
They like numb the gum.
Numb the gum, but basically, is that the gum or is that come here? Numb what? Which one send the information, the communication, where it come from?
The nervous system.
Yeah, the nerve, right? All the signal come back and forth to the nerve, right? That is what we call the communication, right?
Yeah.
That means when they numb the nerve. Okay? That means when the nerve is numb, whatever the brain try to send the information here, they cannot send to the nerve. Therefore, we do not feel the pain. The tooth no longer pain. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that and the person who paralyzed, right? Let's say that they have the arm is paralyzed, right? That means our arm cannot move. What does that mean? What does that mean? Kwa? When our arm cannot move, what could happen?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Because the nerve connect from the brain to the arm, right? That's where the brain control the movement of the arm. If any interrupt of the nerve from the nerve between the brain and the arm, and that means the communication, the information cannot send to the arm to the nerve, and that means the arm cannot move. Does that make sense? What? Does that
Yeah,
make sense? Joe, you understand this, Joe?
Yeah, Tay.
Okay, that makes sense. So that means when we have any problem like the pain or like the when we have the feeling, right? Those things come from the brain. They send the information to whatever part of the body. That's why we have the movement of the arm, the leg, or whatever, and the feeling. Those controlled by the brain. It's so important. And when, let's say we're talking about the arm, right? It's paralyzed. Paralyzed, that means the arm cannot move. That means one of the nerves of the arm, it's broken, okay? Therefore, the communication is not established. And how do they do that? And they can be able to fix this thing by maybe replace the nerve with the so that we connect the nerve, and they try to make sure the nerve be able to that's where the signal can come from the brain to the arm. So that is one way they can fix the paralysis. But of course, easy to say, but it's not easy to do. But that is how it works. Okay. 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 Now let's talk about. Okay. So we understand that. Okay. Let's do the hearing, and in the Buddhist view. Um, Sophia, do you want to read this one?
When we listen to a song, our ears contact the sound of the song. It then creates ears consciousness. The ears consciousness is just like a camera taking a picture of the sound. The ears consciousness will send the image of the sound to the mind, sixth consciousness, brain, through the nerves. Once the mind receives the image object, it loads the data into its short-term memory. Since the mana's seventh consciousness attaches to the seeds in the alaya as a real self, it wants to know the details of the sound object. Therefore, it will grasp the data from the mind's memory and pushes it into the alaya, eighth consciousness, storehouse. The mana consciousness always wants to inquiry about what the data object from the alaya consciousness. The alaya will search all the relating data about the song. Alaya will return the search result to the mana consciousness, and the mana gives it to the mind consciousness. The mind consciousness loads search result data into the memory. If in the past we have learned or heard about this song, then now we can be able to see the images of song from the memory and be able to distinguish about the song, such as the song author, meaning of the song, and the song information.
Do you understand this?
Yes.
Okay, let's summarize what you understand.
So we hear when our ear hears a song, it takes like a picture of it, just like a camera, and we'll send it to the mind. And when the mind receives the image, it will load the data into the short-term memory, which is the mana. The mana will ask the alaya about any information about it, and then the mana would give it back to the mind, and the mind would the mind will receive the memory of the song or information.
Okay, that's good. Let me explain to you through the model. Okay, this is the model. Okay, the eye consonant, the consonant, it means recognize. So when the eye see the the ear, right? The ear hear the sound, right, of the music. But the ear, do you think the ear be able to know this is the what kind of sound at this moment, Sophia?
Yes.
Do you think the ear, when we first hear the sound, right? Do you think the ear can be able to distinguish what kind of sound is it? No, they don't. They do not. Therefore, they only know. They only recognize that there is a sound, but they don't know what kind of sound is it. They have no idea. Okay. So that means we are talking about just like a picture, a camera taking a picture of the sound, and it will send to the brain. This is the brain right here. The brain receive it, we send it to the nerve, right? When the brain receive it, it will load into the short-term memory because in our brain we have the short-term memory. Just like the computer, we have the hard drive, but if we don't have the RAM, that means the memory. Do you think you can be able to reboot the computer? You can boot the computer, Arian? No, we need to have the memory in order to start up the computer, right? Because the memory helps the computer to process the data, right? The data comes from the database from the hard drive, right? The hard drive represents for the permanent memory. Yeah. When you look at the alaya consciousness, it means the storehouse. It will store whatever. For example, when we go to school, we learn the knowledge from the teacher, from book, from whatever that you can learn from other people. Those knowledge will be stored in here. So the knowledge which will make us to become intelligent. Okay? And whatever the habit we have, it will put in here. And whatever the experience, when you go to work, right, you gain a different experience. Those experience also stored in here. Let's say that in the past or up to now, whatever we do, right, from the mind, the mouth, and the body, those things we call karma. In Buddhism, it's karma, it means action. That's it. Action of the mind, action of the mouth, and action of the body. Nothing else. So from these three actions, it produced either 10 good deeds or 10 bad deeds. Okay. The mind, they have 3 bad deeds. We call the evil deed. That means the mind have greed. When the person is greedy, right? That's what greed. The mind also have hatred or anger, right? That is the second one. The third one we call the ignorant. Ignorant, that means lacking understanding the truth. That is the third one. So when we have a lot of greedy or hatred or ignorant, let's say that the person who is greedy, right? Oh, you know what? I should say you. I think I have this one very good. You know what? Next time maybe I can say you the emotional model. I will say you the emotional model pretty quickly. I think this is a good idea to show you as well. Let me see. Let me see where I am. I have many things here. Give me 1 second. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, good. Okay. All right, let me show you this. Okay, this is the we call the emotional model. Okay. Okay. Anyway. For example, when the person have a lot of that means it's a greedy person, right? Very greedy. When we have a greedy thought, right? The person will have this person will easily get angry if when we want something that we cannot get it, right? We will get angry, right? That's what the anger. Does that make sense? And the anger, when the anger go away, but we still keep inside our mind, right? That means we store the anger inside the alaya. That means storehouse consciousness. Those things will become resentment. Okay, it's called resentment. That means anger, you can see it, but the resentment, you cannot see it. But this is very dangerous because when someone says something, it will trigger the anger easily, or it will explode. When we have a lot of resentment, any kind of trigger from the outside, it will explode. Just like the timing bomb, right? Very dangerous. Does it make sense to you, Bé Quyên? You understand
Yes.
you understand the resentment?
Yes.
Okay, resentment. That means it's a hidden anger inside our mind. Okay, it's a hidden anger. Even though we don't show our anger, but this hidden anger will be even dangerous than the anger. Therefore, the malicious, that means affliction, that means suffering. That means we will always suffer. We are always uncomfortable. The behavior, our behavior is very uncomfortable. Okay. The greedy person, when they have so much greedy, if they see someone better than them, they will jealous. Okay. And if they cannot they cannot be able to compete with them, they will have a desire to harm those person, especially in business people, in politics. Okay, this happens a lot because the bad people usually they have all this nature here. They have a desire to harm it. Tammy, do you understand so far, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Joe, you understand so far?
Yes, Tai.
Okay, good. Concealment, that means when the person is greedy, right? They want to cover up. They don't want to show that they are greedy. So that means from outside, they just try to behave as a normal person, not the greedy, but actually they are very greedy. So they cover up their bad character, their bad emotion, okay? Their bad behavior. Okay? And the greedy person also deceitfulness. That means they never tell the truth. They can use any kind of trick to get whatever they want. Sometimes, you know what? Never trust the greedy person. Okay, never trust them. Flatter, that means if they want to get something from us, right? They will say nice thing to us to make us happy. But when they get the thing they be able to get from us, and they can change their behavior very quickly. But if they cannot be able to get it, they become anger and resentment and jealous. Okay, and even they have a desire to harm us. Very dangerous. And really person also proud of themselves because they think that they are very smart. They can use their intelligence to manipulate other people. Okay. Therefore, they cannot be able to learn from other people. I mean, the good thing, but they very good to learn the bad thing from the bad people. Okay. And you know what? The one who is greedy, and if they have all this kind of element here, that means when they do the bad thing, right? They will lack of inner shame. What does that mean? It means that when we do bad, right? When we do bad thing, we don't feel remorse. We don't feel shame of ourselves. We don't have the sense of shame of ourselves. That is really bad. If the good person is when we make a mistake, right? We feel bad for ourselves. We don't want to do that again. But the bad people, when they make when they do bad thing, they never have any sense of shame. That means they are lack of inner shame. They don't feel shame to themselves. That is very evil person. Remember that. And also, you know what? When they do bad thing, right? They do not feel bad with other people. That means lack of shame before other. That means that they don't feel bad with other people. This is what we should remember. The one who do not have the same inner shame or shame before other, that is the most evil person. They can cause damage to us, to everyone. Whoever in their way, they will kill them. Mm. So when we learn this thing, that help us to recognize the different type of people. So we know who we should associate and who we should not associate. If we associate with the foolish one, they will bring harm to us. But when you associate with the wise one, they will bring uh, happiness to us because we can learn from the wise, right? The one who do not have the shame, either inner shame or shame before other, they are the one is the most evil. But the one let's say that the one who already bad people, right? But they do have the same within. That means they when they do bad thing, right? They feel bad about themselves, and they also feel bad about, before others. This one can turn into good. That means the bad person, this kind of bad person, can be able to can turn into good if they be able to meet the right advisor or the good people. The good people can help them to turn into the good, from bad into good. Due to that means they do not have this issue. Okay, they always feel shame about themselves and shame about before others. That how they be able to transform in from bad into good. Lack of faith and belief, that means they don't care about the law of cause and effect, and that's why they can bring harm to a lot of people. Okay? And of course, the one who really, they are not diligently. They want to sit there and wait for things come to them. Okay? And negligently, they are careless about the rule. They don't follow the rule. They are very they do not discipline. They do not discipline. Okay. And lack of discernment, that means they do not have the proper understanding. Okay. And you know what? The really person always live in fear because they worry about other people come and get things from them because they think that other people have the same mind just like them. And you know what? They always live in the worldliness, anxiety. Okay, so today I will stop right here. So that makes sense to everyone.
Yeah.
So do you understand why do we need to learn the emotional model? What does that help us? Do you know?
To mature ourselves and to learn.
And also help us to recognize when we see other people, we know who they are, right? We can recognize this is good person or bad person based on this thing, right? Otherwise, we cannot be able to distinguish. Okay. That help us to distinguish between good and bad. Therefore, we can avoid a lot of suffering for ourselves. Otherwise, if we do not be able to distinguish, and what could happen to us? If we do not be able to distinguish between good and bad, what happened to us? What do you think?
Yeah, what was the question, Ty?
Okay, if we do not be able to distinguish between good and bad, what could happen to us?
Um,
What harm can bring to us?
if we don't know the difference between good and bad, then it will be hard to us to make the good habits that are good. And then, like for example, if we have bad habits, we wouldn't know that they're bad habits, and we will keep doing them. And it's
What
bad because
about the other people? When you see them, you cannot distinguish this is the good people or the bad people, right? Based on their behavior, based on their emotions.
yeah, for that, like if you like don't know between a good person or a bad person, if you hang out with like bad people, for example, then you'll adopt their habits as well, and it also make you act like them, and maybe you might think that that's the right thing to do, which might not be the right thing to do.
Yeah. You know what? When we and also when we make the decision, if we have no knowledge about how to distinguish between the two, we will make the wrong decision, and that will make us remorse for the rest of our life. We feel remorse. Does that make sense to you, Tammy? You understand?
Yes.
So it's better to be wise than to be foolish. Okay? That's important because when we are wise, our decision, when we make the decision, we don't bring harm to other people. We don't bring harm to ourselves. Otherwise, we bring harm to others, especially our parents, right? We make them suffer. Yeah. All right, that's good. Okay, let's stop right here. I think the time is over. Um, yes. Okay, I have. Okay, this is the Buddhist psychology. I will teach you whenever we have a chance. I will put it in so you understand. Oh, okay. Tell me, reading it again. Tell me, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, đọc đi con.
May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of godness, luminous and bright.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light break in darkness of their endless night. May our hearts are one. This world of pains turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise.
Okay, thank you. Con. Okay.